We're going. So I have like five questions for you, and
Mm-hmm.
the first three are related to illustration in general, like
Mm-hmm.
the profession and yeah, making illustrations. And the second two are related to the business. I'll explain you a little bit about this company, Kuvva. And with these two questions, one second, Efra. Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah, with these two questions are more like yeah about Kuva itself and yeah just kind of a brainstorm about what you think about their company and maybe you have some ideas on what they should do. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to kick it off. Okay, what is your favorite illustration from all
That's
from all illustrations in the world?
um, really would have trouble saying that. I feel like for different things, I have a lot of favorite artists, and within that, and I don't think I could say that. But well, I mean, I'm a big Norman Rockwell fan, and he's kind of like, uh, you know, historically very important.
Norman
I think.
Rockwell. Why? Why is he? I'm not in the field, so forgive me. Like I don't know who this guy is, but why is he important? Or what is?
Norman Rockwell.
Yeah.
He did the cover of the Saturday Evening Post, um, like during the golden age of illustration, when illustrators were like the most famous people in the world,
Wow.
and he was the most famous illustrator during that time, for the most part. He's probably the most famous illustrator of all time.
That's cool. So
I mean, it's
he's
all
kind of a
like
hero,
very.
right? He's kind of a
What's that?
hero.
What's that?
He's kind of a hero, right? Then in the
Yeah,
illustration business, I suppose.
yeah. I mean, I grew up looking at his work and enjoying it. I mean, now I look at contemporary illustrators for the most part, but um, I don't think I could say what my favorite single illustration is.
Isn't there
Or
one that like
I
has?
might be if I could think. If I'd have to take some time to like really delve into it.
Is there like one Norman Rockwell that illustration that kind of comes to mind that like made a big impact on you, or I mean that one that you just mentioned, or is it another one that?
Well, I guess there's a lot of like sports ones that when I was a kid just seemed like super fun to me. But now there are the pieces of his that are most attractive to me are the ones that are like pretty different from what he's known for. There's one about like um, a murder in the South that took place in the 50s that had like a lot of racial. It was like a hate crime,
Okay.
and it's really powerful. But it doesn't look like any of his other work, and I think I don't know that is a really good example of how an illustration can be like really powerful and impactful.
Hmm. Interesting.
I have
So it's
to
like
maybe I can find it for you.
yeah, that would be great. So it's like almost as if an illustration is has the power to tell a story, right? Like something that is going on in society and makes it perhaps much more personal
Hmm.
than a picture. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking out loud, but
Hmm.
hmm.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, yeah, I see it. Is this an illustration? It almost looks like a picture, right? Or not?
Well,
It's,
it's a painting.
oh, it's a painting.
Yeah, he's an oil painter. This is another one of my favorites of his. I just like the lighting and the atmosphere.
Oh yeah, that's cool. That's cool. It's like, I mean,
But he's known for like this kind of cute, like Americana stuff. That's like, what do you think of when you think of Flower Aqua?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny. Like somehow the second one that you sent me, the one with the boxing match. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I kind of see a little bit of. I don't know if I'm saying something crazy, but I'm seeing a little bit of what you do with illustrations that kind of has some similarity there. Or no? Is that fair to say, or is that
If you think that, I consider that to be a huge compliment. So I'll take it.
Yeah, no. I mean, from these three, like the second one, I don't know to which exact, um, yeah, which exact illustration of yours it would like. It reminds me of, but mm, yeah, somehow I see something similar there. But it's cool. It's like
Cool.
almost this one is very close to actually being almost like, yeah, not a photo, but you're really there, right? It's like it's kind of blurs the line between illustration and photography almost. Yeah, cool. Okay, my second question.
So I don't know if I really answered your
No, no,
question.
that's man. There's no right or wrong. Like the only thing I'm interested in is just hearing your thoughts and stuff. Um, okay, so my second question is like, what makes you happy about illustrating?
Um, well, I think I'm excited just about like the technical part of it. Just like the act of drawing is exciting to me, and like making a picture. But beyond that, I think that the projects that are most exciting to me are ones where I can infuse like my own interpretation of the concept and have like a little twist on what um, is being discussed. And telling a story, I think the narrative aspects of illustration are really interesting and exciting to me.
Okay, and so it's like you can project some of your own interpretation into the concept or the story that's being told,
Mm-hmm.
uh, to tell like a story or narrative with this illustration. Is there something about like um, getting like a lot of appraisal, or I mean, maybe that's kind of the more usual, not usual, but stuff that comes along with it that people start noticing you, I guess, and right, that you get approached by people that maybe from bigger names, from publishers that want to, yeah, want to connect with you, and is that like, I mean, just out of curiosity, is that a difficult thing to get like close to these people, or is it just about like getting noticed and getting your stuff out there, and then these guys will find you?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean,
Well, you asked if what's interesting about like what I like about illustration itself, and so I feel like you're talking about more, I guess, the business of it and like how like I like the marketing aspects. So um, it's like I feel like you're talking about like what happens in between illustrations, you know.
You're absolutely
And if
right.
I'm getting noticed by like a bigger publisher, then it gives me the opportunity to ideally do another illustration for somebody else. You know.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I was just freestyling and kind of just thinking about
No, but if
this.
you have, but yeah, if you have a more specific question about that, by all means.
Um, how does it work? Like this in between
Um,
illustrations.
well, for me, I mean, there's a lot of different things people do. I belong to this big directory of art directors, and I'll send like big email blast to art directors. I know a lot of people do postcard mailers where they'll send like just a little postcard with a sample of their work, and also utilizing that directory. I've done that. Uh, a handful of times. I don't. I think the people who have the most success with that are people who do it very regularly for like a to like hundreds of art directors over the course of years. Um, I also enter a lot of. There's like all these annual competitions. There's the
Mm.
Society of Illustrators. There's American Illustration, and there's Communication Arts, which is international. Um, and if you get into those, I think you get a little more visibility.
It's cool. I read this. I read. I mean, just made me think of like this book that I read. It's like I mean, the Iron Rand, the Fountainhead. I don't know if you heard about it. And
What is it?
Iron Rand, the Fountainhead. Well,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, but then this guy is an architect, and he tries to make it in the world, and then he speaks about all these guilds and things that he has to go through to kind of like navigate the landscape of all the other architects, and this kind of sounds
Mm-hmm.
like it sounds like as if you get validated by these guys, then that does really it puts like an approval stamp on your work almost for big
Mm.
publishers to hire you. Is that how I should see it? Or
Um, for who are those people?
so if you enter these annual
Oh,
competitions and you kind of like win or make it on top,
mm-hmm.
that kind of puts a stamp of approval on your name, perhaps. That
Yeah, it does a little bit. I don't. I mean, it doesn't really come up a whole lot. But if people, there's a handful of art directors who pay close attention to that stuff, and they'll add people to their list of potential artists they want to work with based on who's getting into the competitions. I think, but I think that's a pretty small percentage of working art directors.
okay?
I think mostly what has um, gotten me more work is just having work out there
Yeah, 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 yeah.
in
That's
big
it.
publication,
That's it. Okay.
which is kind of a catch-22. Because how do you get that? I
Yeah,
guess to start with.
yeah, exactly. Okay. Um, so the third question, which is kind of semi, which is a bit related, but what type of usage for your illustration makes you the happiest? So you can put an illustration in an article on on a coffee mug or on a big billboard or right? Like there's different like presentation forms, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something that is for you more important or makes you happy, or is it all the same, or is it I don't know.
Um, I think it's more about the topic and like what level of creative freedom I'm allowed, and I think the use is not as important to me. But also, I have to say I haven't had that many like different experiences with like different uses. I've had like covers and I've had like article openers, but um, other than that, I mean, I work in animation sometimes, and I would say that's less appealing to me. But that doesn't have to do with usage. It has to do with the fact that it's when I'm in that industry, I'm working as more of a concept artist, and so it's not really my artistic voice that's being portrayed. It's like whatever's described to me, and I have to kind of create a style that suits the project, um, which used to be exciting to me, but now is becoming less and less interesting. I want to like do my own thing, you know.
Sure.
And also, I'm never making a finished piece of artwork in that industry. It's always, you know, a
Yeah, yeah.
contributing piece of art that will inform
The
the
next
final
layer.
product.
Yeah.
So nobody actually sees the my artwork, really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see what you mean.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm gonna tell you about Kuvva. Ku I feel like a researcher, man. It's funny. Kuvva is this. You spell it Kuvva, and
Mhm.
it's a platform that is associated with WeTransfer. I don't know if you heard about it.
We transfer, yeah.
Yeah. So WeTransfer
It's
is
a
this.
file sharing
Yeah,
thing.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And WeTransfer uh, was founded by this guy Nalden, and how WeTransfer works is very clever because it's like a file sharing platform, but just a website where you can like send a file.
Hmm.
But then on the background you have these images, which which is advertising some of the times, but other times it's like illustrations and beautiful artwork, you know. And in that
Hmm.
way they make money by mixing the kind of artwork with actually brands who pay money for it, and that's how they can monetize this service. But over the years, because WeTransfer is very successful, these guys have kind of amassed like a massive database of existing illustrations.
Hmm.
And what they have done with it so far is that they've created this app which is called Kuvva, which you can download from the App Store on your Mac. And then what it does, like I use it every day, it gives you a different illustration. So every day I have like a fresh desktop and I see something new,
Hmm.
and it makes me, for me personally, it makes me really happy because I get to see new artwork, which one way or another is pleasing and kind of stimulates my senses, you know.
Hmm.
But for the Kuva owners, it's not enough because this app costs like a few pounds or a few dollars, but they're not really. It's kind of a losing business, you know. They're not really. These few pounds are not really helping Kuva to grow that much, and not so many people are interested in
Hmm.
downloading Kuva. So these guys are now thinking like, what can we do with Kuva, you know? And so that's why I'm doing this research, you know, to kind of find out what these guys can do with it. And um, I have two questions for you about that, and maybe just some kind of freestyle if you have some ideas. But the first thing is like, what would you do with a database full of high quality illustrations? Do you have any idea? Like, what can you do with it?
Well, I think within the illustration world, um, that sounds to me like they own the rights to all these illustrations.
Um,
They
the
bought the copyright,
Yeah,
I'm
I think
assuming.
that's a good question. I think they have the right to use it for different ways, but the artist will earn from the artist will earn when the illustration gets used, right? So Kova currently sells an illustration for €500 flat, which for good illustrators is too low, and for bad illustrators is too high, right? And then from this 500, they'll probably, I think Kuva takes like a commission, maybe some percentage of the proceeds. But this business model is not working, right? So what these guys
So
want to,
it's like a stock. Is it like a stock image database?
yeah, I got a stock image with high quality illustrations, yeah.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know if it's not working now, you know?
Hmm. Well, that's. I think that stock images are not very appealing to most working artists. It's kind of um, I don't know. Stock images generally are not in the artist's best interest, and it kind of. I think that the general feeling, like within the illustration community is that stock images kind of like cheapen the value of illustration overall. Although, I mean, you can't obviously get like a very specific, you know, illustration that's describing exactly what you want. You can't generally get that from a stock image, but I don't know. That's like the dialogue that
Yeah, no, it's
happens
super useful
in the
information.
illustrations.
Super useful information. But then, so if you have like a stock image, platform with say thousands of high quality illustrations,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that they are, from an artist's perspective, like not something that they're really proud of not really want to be in there, or could there be a way in which they want to be in this database because it's used for a creative purpose which is aligned with what they want and they can earn some money from it?
I guess, well, just the first thing that came to mind just now is if there was more importance placed on the artists themselves. So, like, if Kuvva, I mean, I don't know, this is just off the top of my head, but if Kuvva did, like, every week, like, um, I don't know, like, each day of the week would be a new piece of artwork from one artist. Like, each week would be one artist or something like that. So it was, the viewer would actually get to know a specific artist's work rather than just like influx of like constantly new images. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't really know.
Interesting. Hmm. Mm,
Because I don't think, I mean, I think it sounds like what Kuvva is doing is um, there's like a low level of exposure that the artists would get, and that's like pretty much it. It sounds like so. If there was a way to improve the exposure in some way and like actually make the work, make a specific artist memorable to viewers in some way. I don't know what that way would be exactly.
how?
Do the images when you see them on your desktop background, do they have like the artist's name associated with them?
Yeah. So it's like the Mac app. When you click on it, you can like click next image. You can go to the next one, but you can also go
Oh,
to
you
the
can.
page of the artist. So
Oh, that's good.
you can go and see the artist's work and like the other illustrations.
Uh huh. That's good. But they also sell the rights to those images if somebody wants to use them to publish.
Yeah. Then for the fee that anyone would pay, um, you would own the illustrations, I suppose, and
Mm-hmm.
that would mean that the artist gets paid and Kuvak gets paid. But currently, they're not selling
Do you know what
much.
the percentages are?
Um, no,
I don't
not
really know what's standard for stock images.
no, I don't know. Um, but like, okay, maybe it's a tricky question, and I don't really have the answers either. But like, if you had this database, and you had all these, like you had like a lot of illustrations. No, you had like a lot of your illustrator friends would say, okay, here, Morgan, have these illustrations of mine. If you can find some commercial use for it, because I haven't like sold them to anyone yet, you can help me and you get a cut. Um, you know, what would you do with it? Is there anything you can do? Because it's not like it's an assignment where you can actually put like an article into turn an article into a story with the help of an illustration, but it's stuff that it's already produced, right? It's already produced content, already produced work. I mean, but Maybe is it just a way to um, for the artist to gain exposure from it from one way or another? Is that like something that could, yeah, I don't know, I'm
I mean,
just,
the other thing I will say is that exposure is also much more attractive to artists who are just starting out and less attractive to people who are established.
yeah, it's definitely true,
So,
yeah, because then you don't need it anymore, right?
right.
But so that's not good enough. I mean, that would be, maybe it's okay, but I mean, you already have like whatever, like a Behance profile or something to showcase your work.
Mm.
So why would you need to be in Kuvva, you know? I don't know. I had like these radical ideas, you know. I thought, okay, one, what I try to do, um, I spoke to this girl who works in Twitter pretty highly, and then I said, okay, you know what? What if I get like a 4 by 4 meter screen and I put it in your office, you know, and then we just put all these beautiful illustrations on there. Maybe they're contextual, so in the morning you see stuff related to like breakfast, and the evening to like dinner or whatever, you know. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like a live artwork, which always changes, you know. And then
Mm-hmm.
I had this idea. I was really excited about it, and then I realized that everybody was not excited about it. and then and then everybody's like, it's just a screen. It just reminds me of advertising, you know. And then I thought like, fuck, because for me, I like using this app. Like it always gives me new kind of creative impulses. But maybe if you put it, the moment you put it on a screen, it becomes like something that people feel like it's advertising or just like asking their attention
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, you know. And then I
Mm-hmm.
started to think, okay, maybe Kuva should be like a database, like a stock image database, but with high quality illustrations. So you could like, you know, maybe there are publishers, not like the big names, but kind of the second tier publishers that want to get like illustrations for their articles and don't have money to pay like a really top illustrator, but then go to this database and get it for much cheaper. You know, maybe that's like an obvious answer. Um,
I mean, I think that's how most stock image companies work. Yeah, I mean, you know about like Getty Images and those other ones,
yeah.
and I know those Getty Images has.
Well, I suddenly don't hear you anymore, Morgan. Can you still hear me? I don't know what happened. Kind of the sound just kind of.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I hear you.
Oh, let me. I don't know if those are my headphones. Let me try plugging them back in.
Okay.
How about now?
Yeah, now it works again.
Okay. So I was saying, I know Getty Images has illustrations as well. You know, their main focus is photography, but they have all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, Kuva could compete with Getty Images based on the, you know, on the illustration side of things. Maybe that's like an
Right.
obvious one, you know. And then I thought like, okay, they do that, and then they use this app. They make it free, you know, and then they just use the app for exposure to get like a lot of eyeballs on the actual artwork, so that everybody's going to use the app and just because it's free, and then they're
Mm-hmm.
going to drive in traffic like freely, you know, and then people are going to go to Kuva to get like an illustration if they want to publish something. Maybe that's an obvious one. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but like, would you want to be on that with like stuff that you haven't sold or that you can still sell? Would it be attractive for you or not so much?
Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do have that kind of opinion that stock images are kind of the lowest common denominator, and I'd rather, I don't know, I'd rather sell my own, like be commissioned to make pieces, and then beyond that, maybe like sell prints of illustrations that I've already done. Maybe that's something to think about. I know there's companies that are producing prints. Like there's a company called In Print, which is where I have my print shop now. But um,
Okay.
I'm not I'm not super crazy about that, but it's kind of a nice way to just like not have to deal with printing and shipping and mailing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what if it would be? Sorry, I'm asking a lot of questions, and probably this is one of my last ones. But like, um, what if
Go for it.
I'm trying to crack this? You know, it's like something that I mean, little side story, which is a bit more personal. But my cousin, who is like, she's now what's her age? Like 16. She's going to like design school and visual arts. You know, she kind of like she had to make all these
Hmm.
illustrations for entering the uni. And then it makes like this assignment super interesting, you know, for me. And I don't know, I just really love it. But I'm trying to crack it, you know, what can be done with it. But then, okay, what if the app and everything, what if is what if it's free and it's just a place for illustrators to showcase their work, but then once you like a work through the app, you can commission an artist to to do work, you know. And then Kuvva takes like a cut.
Mm.
So you're not Kuvva's not selling. They're not selling the existing work as like stock images, but they're just a platform for showcasing and for getting new assignments in.
Hmm. Well, what would prevent somebody from seeing the work and then just like going to the artist's website and emailing them directly, and
I,
then
I don't know. Yeah,
avoiding that commit that finder's fee or whatever.
maybe 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 it would be.
I mean, as an artist, I'd like people to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe the artist wouldn't maybe the app wouldn't show the name of the artist so that you see the illustration when you like something and then you want and when you click like commission button or something, then the Kuva kind of um, starts this process for you. I don't know, I have to think about this, but
Hmm. Well, then you're taking away the exposure aspect to some degree. I mean, they're obviously going to find out the artist's name once they commission the artist, but I feel like usually people want to see like a body of work before they're ready to
yeah, yeah. So what then?
purchase it. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I like that angle because also what's cool is if like um, yeah, then it becomes just a discovery platform, and then through the discovery you can find artists to contact. Um, maybe they could.
I would see it maybe if it were very successful and it were a discovery platform. I could see like artists paying a small fee to be on that platform. If it was successful and it yielded a lot of work for artists, and then not having to. I don't know. It's harder for me to concede a commission or like a percentage of each commission than it is for me to pay for like marketing. So
Okay, that's interesting. How much? What would be a fair price then? I mean, for you, like you're pretty established.
what's that
What do you think would be a fair price for someone like you and you're pretty established?
for what? Oh, for like to
To pay?
just belong to it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I guess it depends how useful it is, which just has everything to do with the audience you're able to build, probably.
Yes, definitely. So the larger the audience, the more eyeballs are on it, the better.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you look at that directory that I belong to, they, I don't know if they say it they have like 100,000 database. Like that's how many people are on their database or something like that. It might be more. I don't know, but they advertise that like very clearly to entice people.
And then and then what, do you have to pay to be in a directory, or is that, if I may ask,
Yeah,
how much is that then?
I think you can look at their pricing. It's like different tiers for different. There's like North America, or maybe just the U.S., and then there's like U.S. and Canada. I think. I forget what I pay. I think for the U.S. for just like magazines and book publishers, it might be somewhere around like 600 a year, and it goes up from there.
Cool. Huh. Okay, cool. I like it. I mean, I think that's I mean, okay, just to summarize, and see if you agree, which is that, like, okay, you have Kuvva, you have this app, and now you just have like illustrations rolling, but that's it, and you pay like a few quid to download the app. So I'm thinking, instead of like having to pay for the app, you make it free so you get more eyeballs on it, and then once you're in the application, maybe you have, yeah, you see the different artists, and you can find the artist page, and you can see their work and things like that, right? And then, but then the more eyeballs you get on it, the better exposure it is for the artist. So the artist is gonna pay a fee, but the fee that they're gonna pay is dependent on their level of exposure and the kind of category of exposure. So they would
Yeah, I
uh,
guess you could charge more for like how often their work gets rotated into the.
yeah, and maybe if
Um,
you want to be, maybe if you download the app, um, it's visible for everyone. But if you fill in details that you're a publisher, you can maybe look at maybe have, I don't know. The idea is to matchmake the publishers in London and New York to those artists who pay the most, right? So that they get seen by those
I
people.
well, I will say that I have personally, I have trouble paying for services that just claim to give me exposure, whereas like this agency access, it gives me control of my exposure. You know what I mean? Like I can mail out to 1,000 people that I select, and I know that it's going to them, and it gives me the ability to do that, so I know that it's happening.
Do you
Whereas
see the
just
names,
these,
or how does it work?
what's that?
Do you see the names, or
Yeah, you see, it lists people by company, or you can do different types of searches, but it'll list like all the people at a company. Say like the New Yorker, it'll have like designers, art directors. It'll have the editors too, because I think writers use that or can use that as well, and like photo editors, photographers use that service as well. I know they have like, I guess, a little bit different than what you're talking about, but they have this separate uh, thing that's like a portfolio website. I guess it's a little like Behance, but they claim that it, will give you a lot of exposure. And there's different tiers. If you go to that website, there's different tiers that you can buy. And if you buy like the top tier, you'll get like permanently featured on their homepage. And the next tier down, you'll like rotate into the homepage sometimes, and then just a basic membership, you're just on the website. So if people like happen to search for the right criteria, they'll do it. But I get the feeling that no one is looking for at least illustrators on that website. So I was a member of it for a little while just because it came free with my agency access membership. I thought, why not? But I've never had anyone contact.
I see. Interesting.
So so like I said, I'm less like pay for uh, just this abstract idea for exposure.
Yeah, you want to see what you pay
There's,
for.
I mean, what did you say?
I said like you want to see what you pay for.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm having this idea now, which is what you're saying, and kind of like evolving it, which is that um, maybe the people who download the app to, you know, bring like content to the desktop, um, they have to fill in like who they are, so that you can, so that the person who um, creates the artwork can select by whom they want to be seen, right? So then it's almost as if you can reserve an hour on or a day on people's desktop of whom you want to be seen by. You know, it's like, you know what I mean. Like the it's like the guys. It's
Hmm.
actually, yeah. It's like the people from the publishers and the big design companies and all those, you know, all those important people. They say like, I'm voluntarily giving up my background space as
Hmm.
advertising, but advertising for uh, artists, illustrators, by whom I'm, you know, looking for out for new talent. You know, so I'm giving up my background
Hmm.
space on my laptop. You know, you can come here and show me your stuff, and then if I find it interesting, I'll contact you. You know, and
Hmm.
in that way, what happens is that yeah, the artist is going to very selectively pay for a number of people that they want to be seen by, and I don't know. Do they pay like as on a monthly basis, or do they literally pay if they choose like, okay, I want to have exposure in London on these people, 20 people who work in these design agencies or publishers, and I'm gonna click now buy. Is it like that? Like almost like buying like a LinkedIn upgrade, or is it?
You're asking about agency access?
No, I'm asking like for the artist to pay to pay for it would be like,
Uh-huh.
I guess it would be specific in a specific point in time when they want that exposure, then boom, then they're gonna get it, and they pay for it. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm talking out loud.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I think you're onto something. You're getting closer to something for sure. Something that's exciting to me as an illustrator.
Cool, man. That's awesome. Okay, okay. I'm gonna have a think about this, but if I develop this idea a bit further, I mean, I don't know if it's okay with you, but I'm gonna think about this, and if I'm gonna bring it back to these guys, and they are interested in like having a dialogue about this, would you want to be kind of involved in the dialogue, or just having a chat so that, you know, that they can hear like your opinion, and perhaps there are ways in which oh, are you still there? Sorry, I just had a calendar
Yeah.
thing pop up. Um, yeah, so then it would be, I don't know, just to connect with them.
Hmm. Yeah, if that would help, yeah.
I mean, it's something for, I don't know if it will happen, but maybe down the line if they would show interest. But yeah,
Hmm.
I like this. It's like it's basically it's what you're doing now, but then instead of a mailing list, you get a digital reserved space on these people's Mac. You know,
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
it's exactly. Besides that, it's exactly the same. Only instead of giving someone an email, you're giving them background space.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I would imagine that that would be appealing to the people who would hire illustrators, but I don't know. I think a lot of art directors feel like overwhelmed with the amount of stuff like mailers that they get from potential illustrators that they would hire. But I could be wrong. I mean, I feel like if I were an art director, I'd want to see like all as much as I could.
Yeah. So I mean, if it's for the art director, if they're just using the app as they're using it now, where as I'm using the app now, where every day I see like a new illustration, but if I don't like the illustration, I'm just gonna click through. If it's just like that, then it's not really intrusive, you know? I think.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cool, cool, cool. Okay, I won't take any more of your time. This was extremely helpful. I don't know if anything will come out of it,
Great.
but if it goes anywhere and there's any type of development and these guys are open to think more, I'll definitely keep you in the loop. Other
Okay,
than that,
cool.
yeah, thank you very much.
Will you send me the link to Kuvva?
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh wait, let me do it now. Um,
Yeah.
where is it here? So it's sorry, I wish I had already done that earlier. Kuvva, I think it's kuvva.com probably.
Okay. Cool. I'll take a look at that.
Yeah, I mean the illustrations that I see on the homepage are by far not on your level, but there are some which I've been using that I came across that I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so,
Well, I think in order to make something appealing to art directors, you probably need to keep the level of artwork pretty
pretty
high
high.
somehow.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, that's it then, I guess. Yeah, I wish you a good Thursday afternoon. I think it's afternoon now with you. Or no, morning.
Mm-hmm.
You're in morning, huh?
It'll be morning. Well, it's noon
Seven
in
minutes.
7 minutes.
Where are you now? You're in San
Los
Francisco, Los
Angeles.
Angeles. Ah, that's it, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I wish you a good day then, and yeah, I'll speak to you maybe another time.
All right. You too.
All
Take
right,
care.
you too. Thanks. Yo yo. Bye.
Bye.